light on the types of marriages that we have. And then when you are done, we'd also like to know in our African context, which is the most authentic.
Yeah. There are basically two types of marriages in Nigeria. I will not say Africa because we are limited to Nigeria. Every region has their laws. So Nigerian laws are different from South Africa, different from Kenya, different from Ghana. So the laws, there are two marriages in Nigeria that the law recognizes. One is the customary marriage, that's what we call traditional marriage, and then the marriage under the act, that is marriage court wedding. Now, the law recognizes this too, but for purposes of visa, you need the court wedding above others. So if you see some people after 10, 15 years of marriage going to do court wedding, it's because they're probably going to go and ask for visa and they say proof of marriage. So we have only court wedding, we have only church wedding or traditional marriage. And there was a lot of scam some years ago to get visas. People would just go and take pictures with strangers, pay people to take pictures with them as traditional marriage so that they could get visas. So many countries became aware of that and stopped giving visas based on traditional marriage pictures because most local governments in Nigeria don't give certificates. So the court wedding is the most authentic for those purposes. But another marriage that is recognized in Nigeria is the court wedding, apart from the traditional wedding. Now, if you go to court to go and apply for a marriage, you can do the solemnization. When you apply for 21 days that you want to marry this person, the two people's pictures and their intentions are pasted on the notice board at the marriage registry for 21 days. Then a certificate is given after 21 days. If nobody comes to come and say, oh, this is my husband or this is my wife, the registrar of the court gives a certificate that you can marry. So you can either do the solemnization there in court or you can do it in the church.
Okay.
Now, why most people do it in court is that most churches in Nigeria are not registered places of worship.
Okay.
The solemnization must be done either in court or in a licensed place of worship. If you go to the Corporate Affairs Commission, you realize that 90% of Nigerian churches are not registered.
Wow.
So when you now want to present the marriage, church, it says duplicity. But for we Christians, we do marriage in church for God's blessings. Let God's people come together and bless and celebrate. But for those that have done in court and are still doing a wedding in church is because most of the time their churches are not registered or licensed places of worship. This licensed place of worship is not only about church. There are some mosques that are licensed places of worship. So when they go and do it, sorry to say, people that do marriages in hotels, in event centers, 90% of the time are not married if they didn't do court wedding.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you have done a court wedding, you can do your wedding anywhere. It wouldn't really matter because you have already solemnized your wedding in the court, not in the church. The church wedding is mostly just a celebration. Let God's people come together and bless you, even though the Muslims, let the people come together, the clerics come and bless the couple for spiritual purposes, but for the purposes of marriage, no. So one of the things that people should do, if you don't want to do court wedding, make sure your church is a licensed place of worship. Recently, a colleague of mine got married, and I asked him why he wasn't doing court wedding. He said, well, he would just go and his church is a licensed place of worship. It's a Catholic church, and most Catholic churches, I give that to Catholic church, most are registered. So after the wedding, he took his marriage certificate from the church and filed it in court. That is also acceptable.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. But a lot of Christians don't seem to be aware that church marriage certificates are usually not recognized.
That is on pastors. It's pastors that should know this because most Nigerians especially believe 100% in the church. The solution to the Nigerian problem, if you ask many Nigerians, lies in the church. So pastors should be informed. Pastors, particularly pastors with large congregations, should know better should seek to know better. That's why every church, I dare say, is a company, is a business. So you should have a company lawyer, you should have a company secretary who is a lawyer that will tell you these things, and pastors should also seek to know better.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that what your answer you gave just informs why I heard that some local governments now are beginning to give licensed traditional marriages.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that means it's still advisable after doing traditional marriage to still go to court just in case you may want to travel.
Yes, just in case you may want to travel, because that's, for example, the US, they wouldn't recognize your local government certificate.
Okay.
They don't. I think it's too far for them to recognize. But if they see a certificate from a court in Nigeria, they'll recognize it.
Okay. Then, still talking about which could be the most authentic.
Yeah.
We've heard of situations where some people just do traditional and they go about parading themselves as married. So, if you do just traditional, for people who are just done with traditional weddings, are they married without court, without church?
100%.
Okay.
Yes, they are 100% married.
Okay, that's good. So can we go into the aspect of divorce? There are a lot of divorce cases. The divorce rates are just on the rise.
Yeah.
What are the common causes of divorce globally now? Because divorce is a global phenomenon.
For me, if you ask me, sorry to say, this year, this is just February, and this year alone, I've instituted 5 divorce cases. They started in January. This is just February. Meaning by the end of the year, they may be how many? If in 2 months, there are 5. So, the global causes of divorce that I've seen so far, 1, impatience, intolerance, and then irritability. Because if I say it's adultery, it's not. Because most women that have, and it's men that are instituting these divorce cases. Women are not instituting, funny enough. Most women don't even want to get divorced.
Okay.
We have cases where we go to court and the man is saying, please, the client, the counsel to the male is saying, please let this thing be over and done with. And then we come out of court and the woman goes on her knees in presence of everybody. In the man's presence, goes on her knees and is begging, please don't do this to us, my husband. You know that I love you. What will happen to me? Don't embarrass me. Don't keep this shame from me. We see cases like that every other day. And any day I'm in court for a divorce matter, there are about 15 or 20 other divorce cases in the same court on the same day. So, intolerance, because if you hear many of the facts of these cases in court, it's just that you realize that these people cannot live with each other anymore. Within 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months, they become irritated at each other. They don't just want to see the other person. I don't want to talk to this person. Sometimes it's even domestic violence. The men will be beating their wives and then want to divorce them. But most times it's the 80-20 rule, as Tyler Perry said. Tyler Perry said most times men leave a woman that has 80% of what he wants, but goes for a woman who has 20% because she's outside. Even the Bible says that bread eaten from deceit is sweet, but in the end, it turns to sawdust in the mouth. So once a man is seeing a woman outside, most of the time, there's nothing the woman at home will do right. I agree there are many bad women, but I have not seen a case where a man wants to divorce a woman because she's bad. So far, I have not. It's just that men find it intolerable to live with their women because of 1 or 2 things. Some men will say, oh, she's dirty. Some will say, she tried to kill me. And in those situations, I laugh at it because if a woman tried to kill you, did she just carry a knife and chase you? Or did she poison your food and say, I've poisoned your food, eat it and die? What happened is suspicion. You've annoyed her. You don't want to apologize. You don't want to live in peace. And you are now suspecting that because she's still with you, she's cooking for you, she wants to kill you. Those kind of, basically, like I said, let me just recap. Intolerance, impatience, lack of self-control, and then lack of humility, both from men and women.
Okay. Do we categorize childlessness as part of what comes under impatience?
Yes.
Because someone once told me that it's more difficult for people to divorce if children were on ground. But from this from statistics you've taken, from the ones you've conducted so far and the ones you hear of, what's the ratio of those who divorce with children on ground and those who do divorce because there were no children on ground?
It's higher. Those who divorce with children is higher. For every couple who are separating because they don't have children, their divorces are really dirty. And maybe it's 1 out of 20, 1 out of even 50, I dare say. Couples who are TTC, trying to conceive, are very close. Very, very close. Because there's already something that is broken between them. So most of the time, they try to compensate each other by staying together. So there are some cases, yes, I know of a case where they didn't have children and the man stopped talking to his wife, stopped touching her, stopped for years, for almost 10 years. I told her, the only time you ever talk to her is, you have to leave. You have to leave. Well, by God's miracle, they have a child today, they are back together. I don't know how that happened, I didn't follow it up. But those, I said the 5 cases I've instituted this year are all children, marriages that are blessed with children. All. All. In short, the last one has a 7-month-old baby in the picture.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how do you feel as a lawyer presiding over divorce cases?
Well, as a lawyer, it's normal. As a Christian, maybe you want to ask. I don't know.
Okay, as a Christian lawyer, and also as a wife,
you
understand the value of marriage.
I heard last week or 2 weeks ago that some ladies sat in a salon and were discussing me that, she's married and because I was defending a man against his wife in court for divorce, and how the woman told her friends and they recruited them to say, she's still in her husband's house and she wants my marriage to end. God will punish her. I said, well, you could have easily gone to school, read law, gone to law school, gotten your law degree, and then come and kept it and say, I will not practice law. I will not practice divorce. Because a senior lawyer told me years ago, Shad, really, that divorce is like a fight with the devil for your soul. My first 2 divorce cases, I felt that bad. But I mean, this is normal. It's like eating and going to the toilet. You won't say because you go to the toilet and the toilet is messy, you will not go to the toilet. I mean, if you have a running stomach, even the floor, you can easily do your business and move on. So as a Christian lawyer, yes, I know God hates divorce. But then again, it is impossible for some people to live together. That is the truth of the matter. It is very, very impossible for many people. A narcissist cannot live with a woman. If a female narcissist cannot live with a man, a male narcissist cannot live with a woman. A user cannot live with another person. An abuser cannot live with another person. A drug addict, male or female. I know of cases where a man is a drug addict and makes life impossible for his wife and children. I know of cases where a woman is a drug addict and she does anything to make life difficult or miserable for the man. But what I've realized in most divorce cases is men tell a lot of lies to lawyers. Because what a woman will tell you is different from what the man will tell you. And then when you go to court before a judge, all what the man says crumbles. So always, most times, is lies. Yes, you say, she abuses me. I've had cause to listen in, not my divorce matter, another lawyer's divorce matter in court, and the man said, my wife always abuses me, she insults me. And when we checked, we listened to voice notes, they were having a quarrel and the woman recorded it, and they abused each other, 30 abuses, but it was not one-sided. But from what the man said, never in his life. Another client for another couple, in another case I met in court, the man said he would rather go to jail than remain married to her because the woman wanted resolution. She wanted the marriage to work. They didn't have any issue, in my opinion. He just didn't want her. So after begging and begging and begging, the divorce, of course, ended and they separated. And he was swearing that he doesn't want to be with any woman, how he's tired of women, he wants to just be alone. Barely 6 months later, he did a powerful wedding that shook Makodi. So that is why I say that there's always another woman in the mix waiting. And this woman was more beautiful, she was everything the ex-wife wasn't. Wow. Where the ex-wife was short and dark, this one was tall and fair. Where the ex-wife was very skinny and slim, this one was robust and big. Where that one was timid, this one was bold. This one, the ex-wife didn't used to use social media, this one was all over social media. You understand that? Yeah. So he obviously saw somebody that he felt befitted his status more.
Okay.
And went for her. And nothing could happen, nothing could work between him and the ex-wife.
We have been looking at causes of divorce. I still like us to talk a little more on these matters that lead to divorce. Yeah. People get married sometimes, either in church or in court. They exchange wedding rings.
Yeah.
And then shortly after they stop wearing the rings. Is that a sign already that the marriage could be headed towards divorce?
No, it's not. I used to think that until I got married. For me, right now, it's nothing. Yeah, it's a sign of possession. You want to show that you are committed to somebody. But people commit adultery with rings on. So there's really no big deal to those things. Somebody made a post on Facebook some years ago that wives we wear wedding ring as if they are wearing the world with pride. Meanwhile, their husbands don't wear the rings, and they're telling us how their wives mean nothing to them, and they're chasing us, the single girls. That's what that lady made, the post she made. And I said, women wear rings because we love jewelry. A woman will invest in rings even if she's not married, even if her marriage is not good. She will invest because it's gold. For me, I wear this ring. It's platinum. You see this black spot here. I can use it to pick calls. It's synced to my phone, so I don't need to put a phone on my ear when I'm driving. I just touch this and it picks my phone, my call. It picks and it's on speaker automatically. So some of these things are not. I would be limited if I was not married to wear a ring, so that I'm not seen as married. But as a married woman, why not? I don't go and wear the wedding ring double, except maybe I'm going for an event. I'm going somewhere where I know that people will easily want to hit on me or something, so I can wear that just so that people can leave me alone. Otherwise, it's not a big deal. Most men, I dare say 90%, don't wear rings. In short, and one of my mothers in the Lord told me she stopped buying rings for her husband because she will buy gold ring, he will throw it away. Buy gold ring. And it's because men are naturally careless. A man will remove his ring and say, okay, I'll wear it later. It will fall off, or he will not remember where he kept it. So it's not a sign of anything.
Oh, so if that's the case, do you advocate to stop conducting marriages with rings? Because some churches do it only Bible.
Yeah. I don't advocate for that because, for me, the exchange of rings is nothing. Exchange of Bible is even more nothing. Because there's no binding with the Bible in the eye. The truth of the matter is that we've had even pastors who commit adultery on a regular. Christians, long-standing Christians, are having concubines or what they now call side chicks on a regular. So how did the Bible help? It didn't help. The ring too didn't help. But the ring for me is a sign of possession. That I belong to this person belongs to me. So let me wear this as a badge that I am married. You don't need to see my husband, but this ring should tell you that I am married. That ring should tell you that he is married. So you stay clear of the person.
Okay, then talking about adultery.
Yeah.
Is that a justifiable reason for divorce? Are there really any justifiable reasons why divorce should take place?
Yes.
Particularly for you as a Christian lawyer.
Yes. There are many reasons.
Okay.
There are even 3 reasons that I would dare say are justifiable reasons enough. There are several reasons for divorce in Nigeria, according to the Nigerian law, Matrimonial Causes Act. There's a law that governs marriage in Nigeria. So I think it was made in 1960 or so. There are about 8 reasons why people can go to court, approach the court for a divorce. You know, in law, if you want a problem solved, you go to the court with issues that the law has permitted you to generate issues from. So you go to court and tell the court, okay, either the person has committed adultery, the respondent, that's the person you are suing to divorce, the person you want to divorce, the person has committed adultery, and you find that adultery intolerable to live with. For example, a man goes and has a side chick who everybody knows is HIV positive. I don't think any woman that loves herself will want to remain with that man. It's not even a one-off. Maybe you heard and you have passed. You say they've been dating. She has been his side chick for long. Any normal person should be afraid of such a person. There are cases where the men beat their wives, beat them very well. There's no reason why you should remain married, because yes, sometimes if somebody hits you once, twice, yeah, you can say, well, marriage counselors will always say, work on it. Tell the person that is hitting the other person, work on your anger, work on your temper. But where it has become breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day, year in, year out, it's just one second for life to be snuffed out of a person. So somebody can push your head to the wall, and that's the end. That's the very end. And I know that there are many pastors that have preached against divorce based on domestic violence, but they will never give such advice if it's their biological children or sisters involved. Never. So I always tell people, don't listen. I mean, if you want to stay alive, what exactly are you looking for when you know that you are going to chop beating as breakfast, chop beating for lunch if you cough? Another reason why I can say people can get divorced is where a man or even woman refuses to be financially responsible. The man leaves all the financial burden on his wife, or the woman has money and refuses to bring any to the table. Those are enough triggers, because the economy is harsh, the economy is hard, it's biting everyone. So every extra cent to the house counts. Yeah, so many people find it intolerable to live with a spouse who does not provide financially. Yeah, it's not a good enough reason anyway, but
okay, some of these reasons you mentioned, I believe that in the course of courtship, the partner who is the victim should have seen some of these traits, what we refer to as red flags. So is it that they see them and then they are blinded by love, or the people changed after they got married?
Sometimes those red flags come out and people ignore them. Many people don't even know that you are supposed to walk away when you see red flags. And they just say, okay, well, we'll work on it. Let's manage, and they get married. Many times people change when they marry. I know of a couple where during courtship the man was all over her. Oh my goodness. The love was in the air. When they got married, hatred from nowhere. I think I witnessed this in a court in Lagos, the divorce in Lagos. I went for a case in Lagos and I heard it. All of a sudden, the man just started hating her. He hated her with a passion. If she greets him, he wouldn't answer her. She said in a whole year, he would touch her once. He wasn't beating her. He was providing financially. But in one whole year, she got tired. She would kneel down and beg him, take it to pastors, take it to elders. He will say, oh, no problem. As they're getting home, so you're going to go and report me. You will see. To enter another level. So she got frustrated, and they were married for about 15 years before she decided to walk. She was tired, took a walk. So many people see these things during marriage, during courtship, but ignore them. But many of the time, and I dare say most of the time, people change when they get married, because it's not easy living with somebody. It's called the bonding stage. It's difficult living with somebody. You're coming from a different background. That other person is coming from a different background. So the point of unity is getting it together. It's like welding. When you want to join two irons together, it's intense heat that joins them together. The binding wire is burning. The heat is coming. The electrode, is what you use to join two irons. The heat from the welding machine is plenty, joined with the electrode. It's very hot. But when it binds together, not even rust can separate it. It is difficult. You need a cutting stone with a cutting machine to cut through iron that has been welded together. It's the same with marriage. You need it. You will pass through the intense heat of bonding. And it's not even we know of couples who have separated after 30 years, after 40 years, even after 45 years. So at some point, somebody just says, I don't do again. I can't cope. I don't want again. But when it gets to that level, just know that there's somebody else in the picture. Another man, excuse me.
Right now, I want to focus on the aspects that concern divorce proper. And my guest is Barrister Nguuma Abel. From a perspective of being a lawyer, can you tell us what obtains in divorce, particularly in the court?
When you go to court for a divorce, either person can institute a divorce. Whoever is instituting a divorce, once you have served divorce papers, you have to get a lawyer. You can defend yourself in court, but you might not know what to do, so just get a lawyer and take it from there. The lawyer will represent you in court. But nobody, judge or lawyer, can force a couple to remain together. If one person says, I want out of marriage, nobody, I dare say, once it has gotten to the point of applying or going to court to file papers for divorce, nobody can convince them at that point. There's the person that is petitioning, that's the petitioner, the person that wants the divorce. So even where the respondent, the other party wants the marriage to work, 99.9% of the time it doesn't happen, because once somebody has gotten to that point, it's not easy. Divorce is expensive, divorce is time consuming. So if you can go through all that length without having remorse that okay, we could work this out, there's nothing that can be done when it gets to court. I was in court one day when a man and woman were playing. They were outside, they were the ideal couple. They were playing with each other, they would laugh, do high five. There was a swing outside the courts that divorces hold in Benue, in Makurdi. There was a swing, there's a swing outside. So they started the swing and were pushing each other, they were laughing, giggling. So I think when their lawyer now came, they now came in together. I sat at the back and were gisting. Throughout gisting, they were very noisy. They kept saying order in court because of them. When it was time for them for their matter, when their matter was called up, say divorce, her worship said, for goodness sake, two of you, you people have been playing with each other since you entered this court. I've been seeing you from here. She was already seated when the court was sitting when the couple arrived. She said, from here I can look. I've been looking outside the window. You people have been playing like young children. You came into the court, you sat at the back, you have been making noise all day. I thought that maybe two of you were having an issue against somebody else. Two of you came for divorce? Asked her, why do you want to divorce your husband? He used to beat me, he doesn't provide for me. Asked the man, why do you used to beat your wife? He said, I don't want to beat my wife. In the court. The judge just said, well, please, two of you, counsel to the lawyer, please just leave. You can go. Take another date, but leave. I want to talk to two of them after in my chambers. The two of you should sit down and wait for me. So if our parents all were friendly like this, we're not friendly. Our parents were not friendly like this, but they remained married for all these years. I don't see why two of you cannot work out your differences. Of course, you can force a horse to the river. You cannot force it to drink water. But she said, in this case, I can plead with you. So sit down and wait. I heard of another judge in the East. I can't remember which state now. And that the chief judge then or so, a case was brought in, and I think a divorce matter in one of these, and he said no. That he had said divorce cases should all come to his office, to his court that time. This was many years ago. That every divorce case should come to his mouth, because now these young children are getting married today and your divorce is fanciful. So I won't take that. Every divorce matter should come to my office, to my table, because I want to start meeting with you people. What is wrong with you people? Our parents didn't do this. So that's basically it. But I mean, people should be allowed to, if you find you can't live with a person, why not? You should divorce each other.
Okay, I noticed a lot of legal practitioners advise couples to insist, particularly females, to insist on court marriage, because in the event of a divorce, it seems to favor ladies more. So can you throw more light on that?
Yeah, it favors even the man, because the court marriage does not permit a man to marry, to leave you and marry another wife, and does not permit the woman also, because women leave their husbands for other men. The law also frowns at that. And then if you're married in court, you can easily get apply for maintenance, custody of children, upkeep, those kind of things. It's easier when there's a backing that's from court. Some people have met me and said, oh, I did only only church wedding, traditional wedding and church wedding. How do we get divorced? Do you have a certificate from traditional marriage? No. Okay, let's go to court. It's a bit, in short, I heard in one state in Nigeria, if you say you did only church wedding, they'll tell you, pack traditional wedding and church wedding. Say, pack your load and go, you're not married. So it's that bad. So it's easier to go to court. It favors both the man and the woman. But at least a woman has a legal stand if tomorrow he says, because we've heard of cases where a man will just leave a woman and go and marry another woman for no apparent reason. He probably fell in love with the other woman. So if you have a court wedding certificate,
And is it true that you have to part with your properties 50%?
It doesn't always work like that. That's most likely those instances happen in other jurisdictions, in other countries. Okay. I know of the US, I know of the UK, I know of Canada. But for Nigeria, it's mostly not 50-50. In short, it's rarely ever. I know that the law doesn't really favor women in Nigeria, because there are many cases that have happened and the men have been asked to pay even child maintenance, and they don't pay. They've taken those men to child welfare. They still don't bother. They don't care. So there are those situations are always tricky. That's why I always advise everybody, viewers, get a lawyer. There are many things you can't figure out on your own. It's difficult. There's no point. I mean, you have friends who are lawyers who can do legal services for you at rebate prices. So meet them. Don't kill yourself. You have a husband who is difficult, who isn't paying child support, who isn't paying maintenance to you. Go to court. There are many times that reasonability doesn't work, because I've realized that men of today don't even, the concern for the children isn't there when they are separated from their mother. They throw away the child with the bathwater these days. So if you go to court, at least don't go and fight dirty. Most women rather call the man, insult him, or go to his office to go and fight, go and report to his bosses. Come on, I mean, women should be classier than that. Go to court. It's simple. Let your lawyer handle it. Just tell your lawyer, to this small money I have, or please run this matter for me. And let your lawyer pursue it from there. We can even go to Supreme Court to get the man. It can even happen that your salary will start going to the man's salary will start going to you directly. It's you that will be giving him maintenance from it. So, but just go to court. Go to court, go to court, go to court. Viewers, please go to court. Don't fight dirty with anybody.
But does the court still favor the woman if there was no court wedding?
It can. It can.
Okay.
It depends on the prayers that her lawyer makes. Yeah. What her lawyer goes to ask for in court. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a story in the Bible that catches my attention about Moses. In Exodus chapter 18, verse 2, and then Numbers chapter 12, verse 1, the Bible records that Moses divorced his wife, Zipporah, and remarried another woman who was a Midianite.
Yeah.
And at some point, even his siblings complained about it. And this was the same person who gave the law, and in the law, God ordered that they should not marry outsiders and strangers. And then Jesus explaining the situation, what Moses did in Matthew chapter 19, verse 8. Jesus explained that God authorized Moses to permit divorce due to man's hardness of heart. So I'd like you to comment on that.
Earlier, we said the reasons for divorce are not even adultery. Adultery is not the leading factor of divorce or cause of divorce in Nigeria. Intolerance, lack of humility, impatience. That's the hardness of heart. Because, for example, you're having an issue with your wife and you report it to the elders or to your elders, and they speak to you. You will take dressing, right? You feel smitten in your heart. You correct yourself and go and do better. But most of these people, their hearts are so hard. There is nothing you can say or do that will touch or penetrate their hearts. Absolutely nothing. So I think God did that because he understands the man that he created. He understands the heart of the humans that he created. Humans are hard. We have had women who have refused to listen to reason, no matter the begging, because they want to go on their way. Insisted on divorce. Same with men. It's a two-way street. So I feel that if God permitted it, because of no matter the reason God permitted it, well, he permitted it. So people shouldn't kill themselves in the name of is forever, I do forever, for better, for worse. Those words, for better, for worse, are not even anywhere in the Bible. And on my wedding day, I'm glad that it was a senior clergy that joined me, so he didn't use those words. It was strictly Bible. So there's no for better, for worse in the Bible. It's a human thing of binding, trying to bind, which is a good intention to bind people together, but there's nothing. So if God permitted it because of hardness of heart, it's God that created us. God created man. He knows how hard the heart of man is. Man here is human, stands for human, not just man. So it's permitted. So
how do you advise our viewer to view or perceive someone who has divorced? Because society today almost wants to criticize people who are
divorced. Yes, there's no big deal. Of course, when you want to marry somebody who has been divorced, it's good to make inquiries. Even ask for the divorce proceedings. You want to see the divorce proceedings that were served. You want to know this your person. Because most of the time, it will play out in your own relationship or marriage with the person the second time. So it's always good to know. Make inquiries. Although most divorced people make better spouses because they've had it before. They don't want it again. They don't want a divorce again. So they will do everything within their powers to make it work this time around. Yeah. So please, divorcees are not devils. They're not the cause of Nigeria's problems. So
okay, now that you mentioned the matter of divorcing and remarrying.
Yeah.
Matthew chapter 19 verse 9 and 1 Corinthians 7 verses 10 to 11. Christianity seems to frown at remarriage after divorce while your spouse is still alive. So do you endorse that?
I do. I don't endorse see. I'm a Christian, but the laws of Nigeria supersede the Bible. No, even the Bible says the law, if you check the scripture, the laws of the land are supposed to be respected. This is what the Bible says. So the Bible cannot bring a law that will supersede the Constitution of Nigeria or Matrimonial Causes Act. So, come on. The Bible does not allow us to take the Bible above the laws of Nigeria. So why wouldn't people remarry? I mean, even the same Bible says it's not good for man to be alone. You don't expect divorcees to become casual sex partners and then start spreading disease. So what's the point? Why do we want people to remain single? If we are pushing people in one direction, marry, I'm sure as a young man, people told you when you didn't marry when people wanted, they were pushing you, go and marry. So God forbid you get divorced today. What's the point? We've had even pastors remarry. Many of them in Nigeria, in Benue, plenty. They divorce and remarry. Nobody has died. God is still using them powerfully. I don't think God is an author of confusion.
Okay, as a lawyer,
yeah,
you see, most times when people come to court to divorce, they'll say they are divorcing due to irreconcilable differences.
Yeah.
I believe those irreconcilable differences are it's a coded terminologies to hide the main things. So, what are the common irreconcilable differences that make people divorce?
Like I said earlier, adultery, lack of financial support, irritability. Somebody just gets irritated at their spouse and nothing can be done about it. You can't help them. They refuse to like their spouse anymore. Anything the person does is irritating to them. Those are basically.
How about sexual incompatibility?
Yeah, on men's part, yes, it's very
it's usually on men's part.
Yes, it's usually on men's part, but when it's on men's part, they don't get divorced. They just have a side chick. They don't get divorced. I don't know if you understand. For sex alone, a man would not divorce his wife. As important as sex is to men, they won't. They will not.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hope you're learning from this discussion like I'm learning. I'm learning that men don't usually divorce their wives alone for the sake of sex. They would usually have side chicks, and that's a good lesson to learn. When we come back, I think we'll like to talk more about that. We should be able to talk about the men and their side chicks, and then maybe the women and their side bubbles. Talking about the side chicks and the side bubbles, there's a clamor now for paternity tests and maybe even maternity tests now for people to confirm if the children they have in marriage are actually owned by them. Do you support that?
I do. I support it because Nigeria is the leading country with paternity fraud. Women get pregnant. Now, let me tell you how it plays out. A woman has a man that loves her, is toasting her, and she's saying, this one is below me, beneath me. She has a guy that she's serious about, that is good in the eye, good to look at, doing well. That one now disappoints her. She gets pregnant for him and he says, I don't want to. Go your way. She now goes and meets this other guy that has been disturbing her and says, oh, I like you, marry me, let's marry you. The marriage that you have been saying you want to marry me, I'm ready now. Such a man, my dream girl has fallen for me, he will follow her. Most times, that's how paternity fraud starts. Another instance, I heard that in my village, my uncle told me a story that one lady married a man that had a stray eye and a cleft lip. It's not really a cleft lip, but like a deformity on the mouth. And she gave birth, she married a beautiful woman. The woman gave birth to a child that looked like her husband, exactly like her husband. So they say, this your child is so ugly like the father. She said, don't worry, it will never happen again. She went on to have 8 children in her husband's house. None of them looked like the father. All of them were beautiful. You know the meaning of that? She refused to have children for her husband. She will get pregnant outside and bring home. So paternity fraud in Nigeria is leading in the world, in the whole world. Nigeria is number 1 in paternity fraud.
Wow.
Yeah, so why not? Somebody even advocated on Facebook or social media some months or years ago, about a year ago, that one of the requirements for child dedication should be paternity test. Before a church will dedicate your child, bring paternity test result. And I support it. It's expensive, but it's worth it because, I mean, if women are proven to be number 1, the leaders in paternity fraud in the world, why not? I support it 110%.
Okay, and some people are also clamoring now that there should be maternity tests that men too are also doing some things.
How? It's a woman that will carry the child. Okay. So even when DNA is a man it's a man's DNA that shows, I watched a movie years ago, a Ghanaian movie that said that what was used to blackmail a woman was that she did not use her child was not hers because she used somebody else's egg to fertilize with her husband's sperm for her to get pregnant. It doesn't work that way. I mean, DNA will show a man's blood, not the woman's. So what are we talking about? There's nothing like maternity fraud.
Okay.
Yeah. Nobody will carry a child from outside and give you and say, this is your child, take care of him. I don't know if you understand.
Yeah.
So it's paternity fraud that is a crime, not maternity fraud. I don't even think there's something like that.
Okay. Then there this set of young ladies who say they prefer to date married men because they take care of them more. What's your advice for them?
Financial gain. Well, we live in a country where things are extremely difficult. I will understand with them. If men, however, now these men are not children. 90% of the time, these ladies are young, impressionable university girls. The people we should hold are the men. You, a man, stay faithful to your wife. Let's see. So I put it on the men squarely. Why can you not stay faithful to your wife? Not on the women that want. A woman is a receiver. If you ask a woman out, she will either say yes or no. If a man should ask 10 women out, at least one of them will agree. And many of these men go around saying they are not even married. Many of them go around saying they hate their wives. They can't bear their marriage. They are just with the wives because of the children. You need to hear what these men tell their side chicks. You won't blame them. You won't blame these young girls. They say, we're about to divorce. We'll soon separate. We hear all those stories. A lot. Even me, that I'm a married woman. A married man will be asking me out and be telling me how he hates his wife. There was a client that called me, I think around 5. I was just driving into my gate and he said, but we need to see. I said, Kai, sorry. I'm just getting home and I have to make dinner. And that was just an excuse so that I don't see him. I don't meet with him that day. I was getting home, I want to rest. And he sends me a long WhatsApp. He said, okay. Sends me a long WhatsApp message. Wow, a barrister like you are rushing home to make dinner. And my wife, that is nothing, cannot even make dinner for me. I said, I have cooks. I have maids. I don't cook myself. So what are we talking about? Don't be deceived. I said, see, I only give instructions. This is what I want for dinner. This is what I want. Okay, but give my husband this. You are in the house. You cook what you want to eat what you want to eat at any time. It's not my business. I provide you it. But I said, don't be deceived by all that. I only give instructions. I don't even go to the market anymore. I have people who stay with me that can handle that. So what are we talking about? I said, you cannot come and belittle your wife and tell me she's a nothing because she refuses to cook for you. I said, I won't accept that. Don't follow all this. I say I have to make dinner. What is the dinner? My husband, unfortunately, or should I say fortunately, is the kind of person that you give him bread and tea for dinner and he's good. He's happy. Give him chips and eggs for dinner. He's good to go. Is that what you need to cook for? That's not food. That's not cooking. I only said that. I told him straight up. I only told you that because 5 o'clock is after work hours and I'm home. I want to rest. He wanted to come to my house and see me. I said, you cannot come and see me. I don't see clients in my house. Let's meet in town. Let's meet at the office tomorrow. And I want to cook. So I said, forget. I was just telling you that because I didn't want you to come and see me. And I couldn't drive back to town to see you. Because I stay a bit out of town. You know. So I said, you just came and belittled your wife. They are separated today. Yeah, he left her.
Okay, then talking about the issue of the domestic front.
Yeah.
We heard that the late Dora Akunyele, up to when she died, still made out time to still cook for her husband and serve her husband.
Those are lies. I dare say. They say even Obi Ezekwe.
Yes.
Is it Obi? Yes. This.
Is it Okojo-Iweala now?
No. Yeah, Okojo-Iweala, sorry.
Yes.
Was still cooking for her husband. It's a lie.
And you say you no longer have time to be able to serve your husband. When this mates take away your husband from you, very soon won't your husband start desiring to marry one of them?
If a man can be taken by a maid because she cooks, he's below me. He's beneath me. I mean, I can never be attracted to my security man or my driver. Never. Because my husband doesn't drive me around, I should now fall for his for his driver, for my driver. Because my husband doesn't go to the farm to dig yam, the man that sells yam, supplies yam or goats to me, should become attractive to me. It's preposterous. If a man can be taken by a maid, it's fine, he should go. Because a real man can never look at his maid twice. Impossible. It's impossible. We both have busy schedules. My husband is busy and busy. He doesn't expect me to sit at home and say, okay, oh, husband, come cook. We get home, in short, we have. I told you we went to bed by midnight. I picked my husband from work by 11. His car broke down. I had to go. I just got home. I had missed several of his calls. So I got home and I said, oh, I didn't call him back. I had to rush to the car, carry my phone. I said, sorry, I'm just seeing your missed calls. He said, my car broke down. I'm waiting for you to pick me. I had to drive back to town. So imagine I was getting home by 11, went and picked my husband, got home by 12, and then he wanted me to cook. How? It doesn't work that way. Food was already ready. Now, these maids are people who I have trained in the kitchen. So me that has trained them, he will now leave me to go and follow the person that I trained. And that's foolishness now. And I did not marry a fool. Come on. Men have to be wiser because these maids don't come ready-made. It's your wife that will train them. Then you will now leave the manufacturer and fall for the product. Come on.
So you advise that if a couple must get a maid, they should get a blank maid, then the wife will train, so that the husband doesn't just leave the husband.
99.9% of the time, the maids don't come with any knowledge.
Okay.
They are blank. What do they know? Most of them are coming from the village. Even those in town here, normal soup they cannot make. Or maybe the one they know is the one they can make at their level. So when they come, you are a different person. You teach them what you want. And they learn it.
That means women should have something upstairs that they can teach a maid.
Because
some women don't even know how to cook at all and they get married.
I've
hoping to get maids that will come and be cooking for them.
Well,
what's your take on that?
Women should learn. Even in business, I'm an entrepreneur. There's no business that I do that I don't know how to produce what I do, what I sell by myself. So no staff can do shakara for me. No, not one staff in the world. If you want to be coming from London, I know what I can do. And I've learned from the best in the world. So if you start doing me, guy, let's call it quits. Just go. I'll get somebody else and I'll train. So women should learn. If you don't know how to cook before you marry, learn. Learn. There are catering classes everywhere now. Learn. There are YouTube videos. Learn. Meet a professional caterer to teach you. So that your maids, you will tell your maid, you show your maids, till today, when my maids will cook. My husband will say, it can never be up to par. The day I enter kitchen, he's celebrating, hey, I will eat better food today. So is that the person that will now go as a falling? Which maid? How? For what? It doesn't arise. I'm the manufacturer.
But sometimes what makes a man go after a maid may not be the food per se, it may be the bed performance. And when you have women who are always coming back from work and claiming they are so tired that they cannot be there for the husband in the other room, but the maid is there. That's what leads to that most times. So for women who are so career minded, like you now, you say you come back sometimes 11 o'clock, and they say they cannot be there when the husband needs them in bed. What do you have to say about that?
There's self-control, because if every woman were to follow their sexual desires, some women are hyperactive sexually. If they're to follow their sexual desires and go and look for sex outside, we'll be crying foul. We should do the same for men. It's not every day. See, there are some men whose libidos are so high, they want sex every day. And some women can barely endure sex every week. So if a man's easy way out is, let me go and get a side chick, you can't stop him. What makes a woman interested is not, come and lie down, let me have sex with you. I read the book years ago. Was it Tim LaHaye that wrote it? No, not him. Somebody else. Sex begins in the kitchen. Somebody else says sex starts in the morning. That book said if you want to put your wife perpetually in the mood, you get to work, you call her. Oh, I miss you. I miss you so much. I can't wait to get back home. In the afternoon, have you had your lunch? How is it going? Can we have lunch together if you stay in a town that you can easily drive 10, 15 minutes during your break hour? Those kind of things. Close of work. Oh, baby, I'm on my way home. When you get home, hug her. I missed you so much. Then in bed, come and lie in my arms. I want to hold you. Come on. You do that every day consistently. Women are difficult too. You do that every day for 1 year. There's no how that woman will not swing from a chandelier in its sexy lingerie for you. But men just they can quarrel you now in the kitchen or in the parlor. Come on, get out, foolish woman. Or in the room, said they'll quarrel with you. Look at this place, is dirty, very dirty woman. And then when you lie in bed, start touching, you want to have sex. Come on. Come on. It's not, that woman is not a robot.
Okay, I believe a lot the men watching me are learning a lot from a married woman. She's talking out of experience. She says sex begins from the kitchen. And it's an ordered thing if you want to have an atmosphere in the room, the other room that is always conducive. And throughout the daytime, put your wife in the mood, calls, and all of that. And of course, the women who are also watching, you are hearing that if you don't want to lose your husband to the side chicks, prepare yourself and always have something to do. Barrister, we talked about paternity tests before we went on a break. And in a situation where a man, after the paternity test, finds out that 1 or 2 of the children that his wife claims to be his are not his, what should the man do?
2 things. 1, you can forgive her. Number 2, you can divorce her. You can't tell a person how to feel in such situations of betrayal. But there are men who have forgiven their wives and still live with those women till today that I know. And there are some who have divorced.
Okay.
Yeah, it's totally up to them.
Then you also mentioned a scenario where a man was all over a lady before he married her, and then shortly after he married her, he now hated her passionately. So that means we cannot rule out, don't you think that could be a demonic thing? We can't rule out the place of Satan actually attacking homes and just bringing in a lot of hatred and lead to divorce.
I don't believe those things, because particularly we Christians, we give the devil too much credit. I mean, come on. Why didn't the devil affect you when in your business? When your business fails, why don't you give it to the devil and sit down and divorce? I don't know if you understand. It's when it comes to marriage, we now easily give the devil credit and say, the devil is attacking marriages. The devil cannot attack my marriage. He doesn't have the power. I don't live with the devil. God lives in me. So the devil cannot attack my marriage. That's what we Christians have to realize. We should stop giving the devil credit for bad behavior. Most of the times that people want to get divorced because of bad behavior from either the man or the woman. They don't want to be responsible or take responsibility for their actions. So they say it's the devil's work. Come on. If we're a Christian, the Bible says Christ is hid in us. And we in Christ. So we cannot, who must touch you must go through Christ and go through God to touch you. So how can the devil now jump? Particularly we that even go to church and go and do marriage blessing in church with all the people of God together. The devil will now want to. No, so it's bad behavior, not the devil.
Okay, so before we go, can you give a word of advice to our viewer?
Dear viewers, please, when you are getting married, tell yourself your marriage will work, and follow mentors who you have seen their marriages are working. I have a marriage mentor. My husband and I, we have marriage mentors, and I've realized that it's easier when you have a template. And don't stay far away from them. We go there often. We visit them a lot. They visit us also a lot, and we see the model their marriages are working. When I tell people that my husband makes tea for me, my husband is the one that lays our bed, doesn't bother about food, doesn't stress me. Our marriage mentor, he has seen it work in the marriage and lives of our marriage mentor. When we go and visit our marriage mentor, the wife will sit down. Daddy, I want to drink tea. So, oh yes. You tell my husband, come, let's go together. And Abel, come and make tea for your woman. Me, I'm making for my own woman. Then let me go and lay bed for my wife. When I was pregnant, I was always in their house. He would go and lay their bed, lay my own bed also, and for me to stay, because my husband was always at work and I was always left alone. So they brought me to stay with them most of the time. And and those are things that he was doing effortlessly. They've been married for, I think, about 40 years now.
Wow.
Yes, Dr. Paul and Josephine Ubwa of Pleasure Travels, they are our marriage mentors. He's an excellent husband, 110% husband. So if that kind of person is my marriage mentor, there's no how my husband will do less, except he's a foolish person or he's hard-hearted. He's 110. He provides for his home. When they make his meal, put on the table, he goes to go and serve himself and eat. So he tells my husband, I say, your wife is not your slave. Oh. Your wife is not your slave. Let your wife be happy. Before, of course, before we became close to them, before they became our married friends, we met them after we got married. So my husband will come and be doing draconian decree. A man he's not smiling. He's not going to smile. Even when you tell a joke, you just you will not laugh. I told him this marriage will fail. So when we now met them, the man will laugh. He will sit down with the wife. They will be just laughing. My husband saw that. He said, okay. When I tell my husband, make tea and give it, he say, for what? When he saw it there, he said, the man told him, he said, a man that serves his wife is a big man. He said, because the Bible has attached blessings to men who treat their wives well. The Bible did not attach blessings to women who treat their husbands well. Of course, there's the virtuous woman. But that is how women should be. The virtuous woman should be virtuous. She watch in Proverbs 31. Read it, Proverbs 31. Even if you're not a Christian, Google Proverbs 31 and see the woman in Proverbs 31. You will see how a wife should be. But a husband who treats his wife well is a big man. Check it out. Most of the men, just because we're on live TV, I wouldn't want to call names, but most of the men, even though they are divorced, those who treated their wives well, they are extremely wealthy. They are known everywhere. But particularly in some areas, like around here, I was telling one of my staff yesterday, a woman was on a lazy bike, and I say, yeah, growing up in Makurdi, this is all women were worth, riding lady bike. But today, women have stood up. Women are doing well. Women are buying cars. Women are building houses for themselves. And men are stepping up. I attended the wedding years ago that the pastor preached and said, Kwasi Klangukpanga, women are no more slaves. Women have woken up. Women are doing well. Women are taking care of their husbands, taking care of their children. And men only have to step up also. Men have to do better. You have to wake up. Because women are not waiting and crying and saying, my husband don't give me food again. My husband don't give me money again. No. Most women I know, out of every 100 Benue women today, 98 are doing business or are self-employed or have government employment. They are paying house rent. They are paying children's school fees. I don't even remember that my husband is supposed to give me money. I just realized when I see him say, I gave this person money, I say, oh wait, where's my own? This could have happened like after a month or even 2. I wouldn't remember. I'm doing things in the house. Then I'll say, please, I beg, where the money? You say, woman, if woman know ask you for money, something's wrong, where take. That's how we have been. So men should do better. Your wife is you. If we are following even this Bible, the Bible says 2 shall become what? 1. 1 plus 1 is equals to 1. So maltreating your spouse is maltreating yourself. Do better. Men, make your wife happy. Let me tell you, my male viewers, women, when your wife is going to be boasting, she will boast that this is what her husband does. Her husband takes care of her. Her husband does. You can imagine I said my husband makes my tea every morning. Come on, boil water and give me tea to drink, please. He will do it. If he says I should do it for him, it's normal. But the abnormal is where his blessings lie. So if we wake up and say, do you want to drink tea? Now that I'm dieting, it's green tea. So if he makes lip tea, I say, but it's green tea. Oh, sorry. And I don't like tea. Okay, I'll drink the tea, but he'll make my green tea. And I realized that even on him, the blessings on him are more. His way just keeps opening more and more. And we've seen it in the lives of our marriage mentors. So get a marriage mentor. That's a couple. I'm saying a because a couple is one person. Mm-hmm. So get a marriage mentor. You have seen their marriage work. You've seen them not just long, married for long, 40 years married. No. Have they been happily married? Have they impacted lives? Are they doing well? Please, you need such people or such a person in your life. Go close to them. Be humble enough when you have problems. Take it to them. Till today, if my husband and I have any issue, our marriage mentors hear of it first. Before our parents. Our parents don't even have to hear. Marriage mentors will hear. We tell them about it, and Straight up, the man doesn't hide. He will tell my husband, Abel, you are wrong. His wife will tell me, you, Nguuma, you are wrong. Nobody takes the glory for bad behavior. That's why I said divorce is bad behavior. People just don't want to admit. There are many bad cases in marriage of divorce. There are many good reasons. Somebody can go and be having an affair with somebody who, like I said, is HIV positive. You don't expect such a person to live with such a person, or somebody beats their spouse so much. The covenant of life supersedes the covenant of marriage. Everybody, the Constitution and even the Bible gives credence or gives superiority to the covenant of life. So you will not, because you are married, you will now want to go and carry diseases. VD, sexually transmitted diseases today. Please go to any HIV clinic, you will weep. Go to the pregnant women's HIV clinic on Thursday in Federal Medical Center, you will weep. Over 1,000 women pregnant with HIV. How are they getting it? They were not positive before they married. Most of them were not positive before they married. They did not drink this HIV. It was transferred to them by their husbands. Benue HIV is very high, particularly in Benue, but in Nigeria, HIV is very high. So out of every 10 people you meet, at least 4 of them have HIV. You must be careful. So because somebody is beautiful and appealing in the eye, both male and female, you now say, this is my... That's not your treasure. That could be your death. So please get a marriage counselor, a marriage mentor, get close to them, and then zip up. Zip up. Everything is vanity. Sex is at most 5 minutes pleasure, and that's the end. Zip up, come on, for goodness sakes. Get yourself busy. My husband is so busy that some days he gets home and the way he lies down is the way he lies down till the next day. It's me that I will have to turn him, push him, so that he doesn't sleep, because sometimes when you're stressed, you could sleep and get stroke. So I push him to turn, let his body be turning on the bed in the night. But sometimes I'm also as tired, so we just fall asleep. I know where he is all the time. He knows where I am all the time. So the issue of even cheating it's even like 90% eliminated. And then when you are busy, productively busy, you don't have time to say we're sexually incompatible. What is sexual incompatibility? It's pornography. People see things in pornographic movies and expect, my own wife or my own husband should be like this. Those people are actors. There's no emotion attached to it. That's their job. Then you have your own job, you don't want to go and be acting blue. It's a joke. Thank you so much for having me.
I wish we could go on and on with the barrister. I just discovered she's also a marriage counselor down this program. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. I hope you've had a nice time with us on Let's Worship today. And like we always do, same time next week and on this station, we'll be here again with another very explosive episode. Thank you so much, my guest.
Thank you very much.
Nguuma Abel.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for staying with us. I look forward to seeing you again next week. God bless you.